victory or loss doesn't actually matter that much in the grand scheme of things, but the impacts it has on morale will be very notable, and so both these teams will want to get that advantage as soon as possible. We see confirmed this is going to be a roam Grok. Imam playing on Natalia with high and dry, so yes, he is absolutely going for the kills.
Yeah, that is going to be a roaming Natalia looking for kills as well. And I like how Team Singapore is going to have JPL go for his usual aggressive tankness. And I like how JPL is trying to find Imam and constantly trying to mirror the matchup so that this Natalia go not out of crazy. However, the assault comes in. You can see Edemir already taking a little more damage onto his Imam. And this is going to put a stress onto his laning phase against Gonzalez as of yet.
The annoying thing about having this Natalia around is that she can just roam around the entire map and chunk people out in the side lanes. Imam doesn't necessarily need to get kills, but will have much more movement speed as compared to JPL, and thus can apply much more pressure across the map. We can see that they're primarily focusing on Gonzalez's lane because they know that Adamir will be a threat later on.
It was a very interesting move as well, considering how Team Singapore played it. JPL was trying to cut off rotational waves from Imam, where Imam actually took the long way around back towards the purple buff and then hit towards beat. So Team Singapore, they might not know where he is, and because of this is going to be a little bit of damage heading towards Sayla's way. But do I remind you, this is going to be a slow play because Reminiscent that hits for relatively early, and they are going to be going super aggressive, and they immediately punish Imam because of this play.
This is a good play from Team Singapore. They know that they are going to be stronger in this early game because of the Vaxia, the Grok, and the Dirov. They need to make sure to gain a momentum advantage against Team Philippines so that they will be able to have more map control going into the mid game. Turtle now being contested.
They locked their Rosario in as well, but seems to me they will get the total buff. But here comes the real motivation to isolate the fight. They catch onto a Sayla, and just like that, Team Singapore will lose in the turtle trade, but they want to get a little bit more damage out of this. Unfortunately, they just don't have the burst potential. JPL, however, is going to get cancelled, and Imam walks into the bush and gets an easy taking, and that's going to be 2 kills in the back from Team Philippines.
A little bit of lacking map awareness and positioning from Team Singapore results in them getting caught out completely. They focus too hard on trying to contest the turtle away from Del Rosario, and this allowed Sayla to be targeted by Vela Luna in the back line. Imam even coming in to add insult to injury afterwards, finding JPL. This is the strength of Team Philippines. They know exactly where the members of the enemy team are at all times and will find any stragglers out of position.
Look at this for priority targeting from Vela Luna. You can see it's pretty obvious that he is going to be saving his Real Illumination just for the Sayla and doesn't want to give him any sort of room to abuse the Transcendent form. This is a great priority target. However, Team Singapore, their focus is not exactly on him. However, it is actually on Imam. But at the same time, is this the wisest of choice? Because Imam is going to try and make an attempt on towards Adamir up top, and you can see Adamir's health on the top right as well is going to be bleeded out, and he is going to get focused down, and another one bites the dust as Team Philippines will get another easy pickings.
Yeah, and now Team Singapore wants to follow up. They want to catch Imam, but he's already out. Right now, the rotations on the side of Team Singapore are definitely much slower than that of Team Philippines. They are losing out, and now they want to find something right on top of Vela Luna, but Reminiscent doesn't get it because he's able to use the flicker to escape.
This is why Vela Luna is such a key player coming from Philippines, right? Every single time you make an attempt with him, it's so very difficult to kill him, and even if you know that you have to take him down, it's just very, very difficult to do so, considering that the amount of map pressure that Imam is doing just by not showing off the map is just giving off Team Singapore some very, very uneasy vibes. And you can see Team Singapore, they're just shifting their focus onto the turtle up top and making sure that Adamir will get some sort of backup. But looks like here comes the fight begins.
Yeah, but they use the heavy spin, hitting 2 people against the wall instantly. Both taken down. Soul and Sayla gonna be the unfortunate victims. JPL does not manage to block Vela Luna with the Guardian's barrier, and thus that's going to be a free trade for Team Philippines.
Oh, that is huge, huge, huge. Like, the mental warfare that Team Philippines is giving onto Team Singapore is starting to seep in, and slowly but surely Team Singapore are going to make even more mistakes. And what they did not expect was that they thought Team Philippines is going to be focusing on Adamir, but instead they themselves are actually also targeting Sayla. So Sayla's positioning becomes a little bit more crucial in all these fights to come.
I can't help but feel that Sayla might be a little bit out of his element here. We already know that this is the first time we've seen him play Xavier right now. He's going to be using Dawning Light. Villa Luna in a lot of trouble. No flicker available. Remanison gets a little bit of revenge on the enemy mid lane.
Nicely done coming from Team Singapore. They know for a fact that Sayla has been targeted multiple times and take advantage of the situation. They get a very, very nice kill. But is it enough to bounce back? But as of yet, the economy-wise is only about 1k shy apart despite losing in terms of skills. But Singapore, they still have a lot of map control, and Team Philippines, they have been dodging and dodging and dodging again. Imam finally reviews his position, but looks like Team Singapore, they're debating if they want to force this fight. Looks like there is no cavalry in the backline, so they are going to be reconsidering on attacking the top side.
One strength of Team Philippines is just the speed at which they are able to farm, but a flicker forward, going to miss. Beautiful reaction timing by Gonzalez, escaping with the battle mirror image, and now Adamir not even able to take out the tier 1.
Oh, this is it, Imam. They want to go for the kill as well. Singapore, they trade their lives a little bit for the tier 1. They are going to get punished, and here like this, Imam finds the right target, and that's going to be Sayla immediately shut down. Just like that, as Team Singapore not expecting the rotations coming in. Imam very, very patient with his assassination, and because of that, Team Singapore just can't do anything about it as of yet.
Imam is fully aware of the fact that Adamir and Sayla are going to be easy pickings. The Xavier, most of all, if he manages to find them out of position. And Sayla so far has been getting caught over and over again. He doesn't quite have the utility you normally have on a hero like Kagura. Dawning Light, not going to be enough as Del Rosaria picks up another turtle.
Oh, Team Singapore, they need Soto to win his matchup against Soto. However, look at how disciplined Soto is. He doesn't really want to go head-to-head. And as long as things doesn't go out of hand, I'm able to trade 50-50, the Esmeralda is going to be able to scale, where Team Philippines is going to continue to punish potentially either Sayla or Adamir. But as of yet, Reminiscent from the side Team Singapore is still playing the defensive posture and play safe as much as possible, and seems to be a very mirror matchup coming from the Philippines, where they want to play into its late territories.
Yeah, we know that they're going to be primarily focusing on allowing Gonzalez and Soto to just scale up, farm up their items, and become unstoppable in the late game. Imam now in a little bit of trouble, but Reminiscent not able to find the Natalia.
Oh, that was so close. So, however, he's going to get caught off. You can see Del Rosario popping the heavy spin as well. He's going to push Soul in towards the wall, but do they have enough damage to fight it? So, he's trying his best to go for a trade, but unfortunately, he is a little bit too far off to be picked off. Meanwhile, on the top side as well, we do see the fights coming in. Adamir going for the aggressive plays, gets a trade, trading Imam for his support, but at the same time, Team Singapore still loses out a 2-for-1 trade, but does give a little bit of economy to Adamir.
Yeah, and he is able to take out the top tier 1 tower, so that is going to mean less space for Gonzalez to get farm. Reminiscent as well, knowing that his team didn't get the best trade, is now going to move into the enemy jungle, steals the purple buff successfully. In terms of net worth though, Philippines still notably ahead, and now they're ganking Sayla again.
Oh, this is going to be hard as well, but looks like this heavy spin. They are going to catch on to Reminiscent, drops him down to his half HP, but this is a tank box here. They don't exactly want to go for it, but it seems like they will scare off Singapore a little bit to regroup, and seems like they are going to be grouping up as far to set up for a gank, potentially catching them off guard while rotating, but it seems like Villa Luna is going to get caught off. Great catch coming from JPL. They take him down, and just like that, the Lord is going to be up for grabs. However, Philippines, they're holding on strong with the middle lane. Del Rosario is going to be dead. Abyssum Strike is going to connect on the dot, but they don't seem to have damage, but Reminiscent will seal the deal. Meanwhile, Team Philippines is going to be focusing on the back lines. As you can see, Soto trying his best to focus on Adamir. He needs one last auto attack, but can't seem to kill him. Adamir survives and gets the kill on of it all, and Team Singapore is going to come on top with this trade with a 2v3 win fight, and my goodness, Singapore, they come on top, but they cannot benefit from the Lord at all.
Yeah, that was a chaotic skirmish between both these teams, and at first it does look like Team Philippines has control of the fight, as they are able to split up the members of Team Singapore to attempt to take them off one by one. Unfortunately, their heroes aren't quite scaled up enough yet, so they don't have enough consistent damage to actually take that, allowing Team Singapore to pick up a few kills in return.
This is very scary. Team Philippines, they need some sort of very strong frontliner to actually deal with JP JPL as well as Reminiscence. You can see the defense coming from Singapore to ensure that Sailor has his farm as well as the Beatrix is just annoying to deal with. And it's back to the drawing board for Team Philippines as they need to slowly farm out a little bit more so that Del Rosario and Soto can scale into the lane to actually match Team Singapore as of now.
Yep, but I don't think they're having too many issues with that. Yes, they did get slowed down a little bit because of that, but their farm is still on point. And now Del Rosario with the heavy spin going to be catching out JPL. Gonzalez slowly whittling him down, but not enough as the dawning light. Imam jumping onto Zayla, picks him up, but will cost his own life. Adamir gonna flicker forward on top of Villa Luna, gets the double kill, but gonna end up losing his life in return. Soto now on top of Reminiscent won't be able to kill this box yet, but that's a 2-for-3 trade in favor of Philippines this time.
Oh, that was a little bit of mistakes coming from Team Singapore. They tried to go to kill onto Gonzalez, but Gonzalez was able to get a freebie because of the heavy spin lockdown. Things would have looked a little bit soft. However, so what is he doing? He's all by himself. He's trying to make a play. However, he's going to be poked apart. That's going to be mega kill onto Gonzalez as he's going to get 4-0-2 on the marksman. And just like that, they are back in action and they're looking to challenge towards Lord. They've got retributions. They've got the marksman available. And Team Singapore, Adamir is a little bit too far off. They've got to wait out on this.
We already see that Soto is scaling up to the point where it's very difficult for even Reminiscent to take him down. He's buying so much space for Del Rosario and Gonzalez. Imam in the backline. He's looking for Sayla once again. He's with Adamir back there. Heavy spin pops down. Real manipulation gonna trap them out. Imam, he finds Adamir. Gets the kill with Execute. He knows that the Beatrix is more dangerous. JPL uses the wild charge, but it's not gonna be enough. Dawning Light almost picks off Gonzalez. Soto dropping real low as well. Team Philippines gonna take that as their cue to disengage.
Oh my goodness. Imam, the assassin he is, he's been scouting around, waiting for right targets, and he knows who he needs to kill. Adamir taking advantage of that wall defense to call over, trying to force Philippines to react. Unfortunately, Philippines was just using it at the stalemate for a bait as a distraction to allow Imam to sneak up behind and get the kill. And my, oh my, Adamir walked into his own trap that he tried to set up for against Team Philippines.
Team Singapore just don't have enough awareness. They need to know that this Natalia is on the map and could be anywhere. Adamir, he could have probably taken the fight if he was on Wesker, but unfortunately, because he was not expecting Imam to show up, he was actually using Renner at the time, and well, in close quarters, a sniper rifle isn't going to do the job.
Exactly. Team Philippines is going to be trying to force a fight once again as they try to bait out the Lord, and Team Singapore is going to be responding as well. Sayla as well as Adamir looking for the fight, but looks like Rosario is going to catch on Reminiscence. Roman Division tries to zone them out. JPL taking the full brunt of it as well. Likewise from Sayla, they're hesitating to fight, but Villa Luna starting to hurt like a truck. As Team Philippines, they won't lose out Imam in the process, but seems like Singapore can also exactly contest the Lord because of the potential snipe coming from Philippines. Soto is going to be called in to secure the map control onto the Lord, but Philippines, they still have a healthy chunk of HP. Looks like they will try and make an attempt onto the Lord. Del Rosario does have the heavy spin very, very soon, but it is still once again a very, very patient bait coming from Team Philippines.
JPL trying to go in from the backline. Soul coming from the side, but they're not able to find the engagement. All things considered, that was an okay trade for Team Singapore. Madison jumping in onto Villa Luna, but he is out of position. Dawning Light only hitting Gonzalez. He's now stuck underneath the Void Crystal. Heavy spin, pushing Reminiscent back. They do catch out Soto in the Mystic Field. Adamir flickers forward again. Nibiru's pass and secures the kill. Soul going in, finds Gonzalez. They find Del Rosario as well. Imam, the only survivor as Team Singapore walks over the Philippines.
Oh, that was huge coming in from Team Singapore, and just like that, it wiped the floor with them. But look at how tanky Reminiscence was, and because of that, they just completely obliterated them all. And now they're going for the base push as well, and just like that, they wiped the floor with Team Philippines. They closed up the game 13 minutes into the game, and guess what? What an upset coming in from
in the world.
Oh boy, oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be Team Philippines versus Singapore, game number 2, with the plot twist of the Diggy to try and counteract all the CC-oriented playstyle that Singapore is bringing to the table. Likewise, with the Hellcurt on board. Hopefully things are going to be a little bit better, but we do see a little bit of harassment at JPL, which I did not expect this. Is going to be playing on the Roamer role. I told you. See,
wait a minute. This is a JPL Popol and Koopa. And an Adamir, gold lane Edith. He is planning to build Edith as a DPS instead of setting up kills with onwards here. This is an interesting style. I want to see if this works.
That's why you gotta trust Icy Baby, man. Icy Baby's done his homework. Adamir, ever since his introduction to MPL, he was a very, very amazing XP laner, and I really like how they're doing this. But question remains is that, is it the right call? I'm just gonna put a full stop there. Is it the right call?
At the very least, right now, we can see that both teams are putting a lot of focus onto their gold lane. They know that Gonzalez and Adamir are going to be their primary win conditions. So both Villa Luna and JPL are going to be giving their respective gold laners a bit of a hand to ensure that they will scale up better into the mid game.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to see how it happens as of Team Philippines. They're still playing it a little bit defensively. Likewise, coming from Singapore, I was expecting a little bit more aggression, but in terms of trade-offs, it's going to be very, very difficult, right? If you think about game 1, Team Singapore was a little bit more tanky, but now game number 2, they are a little bit more squishy. You can see that Adamir is trying to go for bait and trying to clear our minions. Gonzalez looking for the one pump. I feel like he can get the kill. JPL is in the vicinity, and I feel like Adamir is trying to bait this out for the team. And here comes a snipe coming in, and Gonzalez gonna be focusing on the minions instead.
But Del Rosario are gonna be able to find Soul in. The bush gets pulled back by the time reversal. Dark Knight Fall is gonna be popped right down. Real World Manipulation does not save Del Rosario, but will get the kill onto Madison in return. JPL now slightly out of position, but a dawning light will stop Team Philippines' attempt.
Well, this is huge. Both the junglers has been taken on 1-for-1, but surprise, surprise, the Diggy setup for the Real World Manipulation is actually gonna keep anyone in place in Real Manipulation for the full duration of damage, and this is actually helping them out. Team Philippines now going to have the benefit of help deal a little bit more damage with the Electro Final Blow to clear off the minions. So this is going to be the Team Philippines special coming in with giving them now a 1k lead over Team Singapore.
We are already seeing that Team Philippines is actually accelerating the momentum of this game because they know that Team Singapore are actually capable of stopping them from playing safe in the mid game. They can't afford to take those risks anymore. They can't just say, no matter what, we will scale up, because we've already seen proof that that is not the case. We'll see whether or not this accelerated movement will be enough. As a flicker forward from Adamir, will he be able to catch out Gonzalez? The Popol and Koopa are going to be jumping in, gets him. He blocks the shot from Wesker, but it's not going to be enough. They find Adamir.
Oh, that is huge coming in from for Gonzalez as well. JPL needs to make a run for it as well. Real Manipulation can't seem to finish him off. Goes for the preemptive measure, but the Darkness Fall saves his life a little bit more as JPL narrowly escapes it all. So that was a close call, but still Gonzalez tried his best but won't be taken out.
That's just unfortunate there for Imam. He could not see where JPL was because of the Dark Knight Falls, and that allows the Popol and Koopa to walk out. But Adamir going to be targeted yet again, taking a lot of damage from Tortoise. Presence able to run away under the tower. Almost gets sniped, but pops the Primal Wrath and gets a revenge kill onto Villa Luna. Philippines going to have to retreat.
Yeah, you can see Villa Luna giving a lot of information despite the death. And the beauty about this is, well, it is very, very much possible of cancelling regens and recall if Team Singapore decides to back off. So this is going to be a little bit of annoyance later stage into the game. But Team Philippines, they need to help their lives, because as of now, here comes another attempt with Reminiscent pulling at the health curve. And this is exactly how you pick off towards Team Philippines' composition, by giving them the blindness.
Yeah, that Dark Knight Falls, we already saw that it was very effective against Team Philippines when they were playing against Myanmar yesterday, and now Team Singapore are using it against them. Zayla dropping real low to the Real World Manipulation, but he is able to walk out. JPL buying him lots of space.
This is very, very annoying to deal with, but Team Soul now with the Hunter Strike available on the Dirov. Not exactly sure it is going to be enough. However, that is going to be giving a little bit of edge in when it comes to 1v1 matchups. But as of yet, Turtle is going to be contested as well. Team Singapore is looking for harass as well. JPL going a little bit of zoning tactic. Team Philippines, they may need to get it as well. And that is going to be the Edith stealing a Turtle. And Del Rosario missing the steal, but Adamir will be forced to sacrifice his life. But the Turtle is in the hands of Team Singapore. However, they will trade 1-for-1. Gonzalez for Adamir.
That's going to be pretty worth it for Team Singapore, though. They trade out their gold lane for the enemy gold lane and are able to secure the turtle on top of it. And all things considered, Adamir was the one to get the last hit, not even the jungle. They now want to use this advantage in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that is a huge play coming from Adamir. However, Adamir as well is, I think he's going to be playing an XP lane, right? He's going to be going for full tank on Edith, and eventually into a later stage game, JPL is going to be scaling in towards the DPS department. I believe that's pretty much the right idea of what Singapore is going to be going onto it. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at the items here before real quick. Yes, he is going to be going for the defensive measure, while JPL is going to be going for the marksman. So it's going to be a little bit of a difference in terms of timing, but when they get to this later stage of the game, they will eventually scale very similarly to a standard draft.
Yeah, especially when you consider that Team Singapore, all of their heroes will be able to output a good amount of damage. Of course, Team Philippines, they have a solid late game as well, but they're already starting. JPL instantly dropping to the real world manipulation. Gonzalez gets the trade against Adamir in the bottom lane as well with the help of Villa Luna. So Team Philippines fighting back.
That is huge. That is a huge pick-off. Knowing that Team Singapore is going to be able to scale with Sayla, with the Xavier, but at the same time, JPL is also going to be the secret sauce, and Team Philippines is going to be able to punish this. However, there is going to be a pause calling in. Seems like there is going to be some sort of issues. However, as of current now, Team Philippines is able to get a little bit more economy to deal with this, and it seems like there is some sort of disparity in terms of game plan. But Team Singapore, they're trying to take advantage of the Darkness Fall. Whereas Team Philippines is looking to try and scale a little bit more to try and deal with the Hellcat later on.
Yeah, they definitely are. The Dark Knight Falls right now is really making it difficult for Team Philippines to control the battlefield like they normally would. And even though they are actually still farming out quite well, again, this is the strength of Team Philippines. They will always have the net worth lead as long as they're not put too far behind. But Team Singapore, definitely showing us a thing or two about how to play against this very powerful lineup. Just up their momentum, go for the fights, catch them out, remove their source of information, and ensure that the flow of battle is in your hands instead.
Ooh, tensions are really, really high. You can see Adamir is feeling a little bit exhausted from the early games of today. But at the same time, the technical issue I believe to be called on from side of Team Philippines, as I can see from the marshals taking a look here and there. But I feel like this is a good time for them to sit down and discuss how do they deal with the Hellcat, right? Right now, the biggest threat is going to be the Hellcat coming from Team Singapore, whereas from the side of Team Singapore, the biggest threat is going to be the potential Real Woman Division Diggy combo to scale onto a Wombo Gom strategy, because whoever gets caught by the return reversal coming in from the Diggy is going to be completely shut down, potential with a Electro Final Blow on top of the Real World Manipulation.
Yeah, that is the team lineup that Team Philippines are trying to play around right now. But still, the Dark Knight Falls is actually really counterproductive to that, because the moment that Imam pops the Real World Manipulation and then he gets afflicted with the Dark Knight Falls, he literally cannot see. Usually, in these situations, you will be able to get over the problem with better team communication. You just have to tell your teammates, okay, they are standing here. But when it comes to the Eve, it's very difficult to tell him, drop your attacks on this grid.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is a game where you probably see play a game of Battleship, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if you know it as well.
Yeah, I know.
And it's also tic-tac-toe as well. So possibly having good communication on which grid and how they point as well is going to be very, very important. However, the safer version would be just completely spamming all your points. Just hoping you hit one of the landmines multiple times.
I'm not...
It's very difficult. I know, I get it. It's very, very difficult. But of course, in a split second, of hitting those battleships, it's not an easy thing to do. So I like that there's going to be a little bit of a counter strats coming from both sides' perspective. But I'm really more curious on how can JPL survive the scaling, because how can Adamir actually benefit from this IDIF? How can he set up from the team? We see time and time again, he tried to get a couple setups for Gonzalez with the bottom lane where Beatrix was being caught out, but unfortunately could not connect the full combo, because technically, even if you go for the catch and turn it, you can still flicker in time before the Earth Shatter comes in.
I think what's important to note here is that Adamir went into this game knowing that it would be very difficult for him to get his combo off just because the Diggy is on the battlefield. So I think they're going to be changing up their gameplay style a little bit. If they can get a catch with the Edith, then that is good. But otherwise, his only goal is to stand there and soak up damage, after which he can pop the Primal Wrath. And we have to note, Edith does a lot of damage in Primal Wrath. I do believe that she does some pure damage as well. And that is very effective against the tankier heroes on the side of Team Philippines.
Yeah, but as you can see from side Team Philippines, they are going to try and resume the game. Seems like they are going to be back in action. I see the screen, but they most probably need to resume and test it out, I guess. So they are going to be resolving whether or not they can continue the game. But as of yet, what I do know is that Team Philippines is having in the lead. But does this break their momentum that they just gotten against Team Singapore?
I think what will be most important to pay attention to in that case is going to be Soto playing on the Benedetta. This is the first time we have seen him play on this hero, and even Benedetta itself is a very rare hero. We've only seen her getting played by one other team so far, and it hasn't quite really worked out. In this case though, I'm pretty sure with the plan for Team Philippines, they want to use this hero to delay the game. Benedetta is very good at split pushing. So if Team Philippines realizes, okay, we are not able to take fights efficiently at this stage, send out Soto, shove out a lane, buy time for their late game heroes to scale up.
It seems like the players are ready, and we're going to be going into the game once again as we saw Team Singapore getting very, very focused. And it looks like they are going to try and force an issue. Team Philippines, they're back in action. Adamir going for the stand-up as well. They're going for the catch. However, his damage taking a little bit too much, and he's going to be forced to disengage with his out. So Singapore will lose out a little bit of trade. However, the turret's up for grabs. Adamir going to be leading the charge as well, as Team Philippines still deciding if they want to go for it as well, considering that the Darkness Fall is still available.
Now this is going to be a 4v4, and Philippines are do secure it. Time Journey already popped down to keep them alive. Soul dropping real low as Soto is in the backline on top of Adamir. They find Soul instantly, and the rest of Team Singapore has to back this off.
Oh, big plays coming from Philippines as well. Immediately focusing on Turtle, but looks like Team Philippines is not over yet. They're looking for the pay, but the Koopa coming in to stop the Shu Unity is going to help them stop the aggression. However, it's not over yet. Team Philippines wants to take a mid-control. Here comes the real motivation. Zelda taking a little bit too much damage. He's going to be forced to back out. Using the Donic comes in, and Gonzalez down to his half health. And Edinburgh is still deciding if he wants to go for it, but seems like he is going to focus on Soto instead. Doesn't seem to have the damage, but looks like he's going to be caught out of like to final blow. Here comes the flicker, and now you can see Soto will get an easy pickings alongside with Imam, giving the thumbs up. Freebies up for grabs as Team Philippines will lead that fight again.
Adamir, unfortunately, jumping in a little bit too early. He wanted to go for Soto, but the problem with Evif is that you need to tank a lot of damage before you can do a lot of damage, and he didn't have enough HP. But they get a trade in return. Soul with the Abysm strike set up by Sayla picks up Ima.
That is big for both Sayla as well, because that is going to be a little bit of redemption. And I like how this role switch coming from Singapore, where they're going to send Adamir as the meat shield to try to deny away and stray away attention for the side of Team Philippines to allow Reminiscent and Sayla to come up online. And with that in play in mind, they will be able to scale really well. But looks like Adamir is going to be starting to fight again. Here comes the Darkness Ball. Here comes Time Journey. Actually going for the disengage. They almost chuck him out. However, getting a little bit aggressive means Adamir is going to be paid with his life. Electro Final Roll coming from Soto to re-engage, but Singapore gets the full disengage. The Reminiscent needs the purple buff. Can he get it? Yes, he will, but is he going to get a little bit more? JPL, however, going to get caught out at the edge of the fight as well. Real Manucci comes in to slow him down. He's going to get caught out. Pulls back as well, but they do not have the damage to finish him off. So close plays, but Philippines manages to scare Singapore off.
If JPL did not have sprint up there, he was confirmed dead. So it's lucky he's able to escape from that. But that was just a mistake by Singapore. They jumped in trying to kill Del Rosario with the Dark Knight Fall. But the Baxia, again, a little bit too tanky right now. Soul going to take a lot of damage from Soto. The rest of Team Philippines right on top of the turtle. They want to go for this.
Adamir tries to make the play, misses though as well. The Earth Shatter connects with Gonzalez. Likewise, coming with Dawning Light. Gonzalez needing to make a run for it as well. And Time Journey also going to be expanded. Likewise, coming with Darkness Fall. And it's going to be the full reset coming from Team Philippines. Singapore wants to fight again, but it seems like they are going to back off and reset this fight, as they don't exactly have the tools to fight on against Team Philippines.
What's dangerous now for Team Singapore is that even though they are taking these fights pretty evenly against Team Philippines, it is Philippines right now which are farming so quickly. They already have a 4K net worth lead, even though it looks like they've been fighting about the same amount as Team Singapore. I don't know how they do it, but this is going to allow them to really scale up.
Pay attention to the minimap as well, because if you think about it, Singapore can't exactly outmatch the clear speed, and constantly, time and time again, Soto is just pressuring the bottom lane, making sure that Singapore can't group up as fight. And the thing about this conversation for Team Singapore is they need to group up as fight in order to win fights. And Team Philippines taking a different approach is really smart.
Yeah, I really like this Benedetta in this situation. Usually, I'm not a big fan of this hero, but the Philippines have definitely drafted it for this exact reason. And if they're able to constantly separate Soul from the rest of his team, that sets up for the rest of them to take better fights.
Exactly, but seems like a better fight is about to happen as well because now Rosario is going to force the Toys for Sons to work with Sayla as well as JPL. But the question still remains because right now, they don't exactly have enough damage to shut off Del Rosario. They need Soul in this fight. And it's so worrisome because right now, they're calling in Soul in, but Team Philippines say, I don't care. Soto, split push, send him back. Pull him away from the rest of the teams before we fight. But looks like it's going to be the issue as well because Soto is going to get caught out. Here comes the combo, but a great eye-to-eye timing from Soto to escape the grass. However, the turret will be lost in the hands of Singapore as they lose the tier 2 down bottom to the minions.
Soto has been doing such a good job here of split pushing, even surviving that attempt. Now you can see that Philippines has the very obvious tower advantage against Team Singapore and are still continuing to build up their network lead. Team Singapore, they're just being wrung dry right now because their members have to be split up across the map to deal with these minion waves.
Well, JPL first purchased the Helper coming in. It's going to be a way to counter negate the regens coming in from the Boxia, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He needs a little bit more. So, however, does Hand of Immortality means anytime soon Singapore may look to opt to choose to go for a fight. Gonzalez, however, getting harassed by Koopa a little bit, but slowly but surely, we do see JPL has some sort of damage despite being the roamer marksman he is.
We can see right now that Team Singapore are actually very wary of the Philippines and they're making an attempt here. They want to catch Adamir, pop the time reversal into Renner's Elation. Massive damage. He's still able to walk out. Dawning Light not doing nearly enough in return. They have control over the Lord Pit and Soto is still split pushing.
I like how Team Philippines is very aware on what Team Singapore is trying to do. Lure them into a choke point and then allow Zayla to get a big Dawning Light. This is a strategy that is so commonly used by so many teams that Team Philippines has to understand that we don't need to force a 5v5 fight. As long as we have the split push potential, we will eventually get objectives. However, it is the same to be said from Team Singapore. Yes, we are trading 50-50 stalemates, but if we scale into the later stage of the game, there is a very, very high possibility that Singapore is going to be able to eventually find a way to chunk down Del Rosario Bakhtia.
I do agree with you there. The question is whether or not they will hit that point in the late game. Gonzalez already has 9k gold on himself. Soto is second top. Sayla gonna get caught out by the time reversal right on top of Del Rosario. He's in trouble. Will actually be able to get out. No, he will not. JPL are the unfortunately only survivor there as both Hermanison and Sayla are instantly picked off even under Dark Knight Fall.
Oh, that was so unfortunate. Great catch coming from Team Philippines for that play. However, even with the Darkness Fall, they lose Reminiscence and Sayla. But imagine the Darkness Fall not dropping in. They might have lose Soul as well. But as of yet, it looks like they are going to force the issue. Soul does have the immortality as they go for the fight. Adamir trying his best to chip him all down. They're down to his low health. But Team Singapore, they can't seem to figure it out. JPL does have damage, but they can't seem to clean out. Team Philippines a little bit hesitant to go in for the finish, but eventually will get the Lord for free as JPL not opting to go for the contest.
There's just not much he's going to be able to do by himself. This is a 1v5 situation. And even Soto fighting the backline, just delaying time. He's been doing an excellent job on this Benedetta. Singapore now are in a very bad situation. A 7k net worth lead for the Philippines. It is approaching the point where it's going to be very difficult to actually make a comeback.
Well, with the Lord pushing down from the bottom side as well, Team Singapore doing a fair fight as well. Soto gonna get caught out. They are trying their best to finish off. Electro final will come. Soto is gonna keep him alive, but the Dawning Light, patience from Sayla, predicts his move, anticipates him to be there, gets the job done. However, despite 4v5, Team Philippines still has the Lord on their side. Singapore has to make a way to make it away as well. Real Blimish comes in, he's gonna focus on Sayla, and Sayla gets caught off by the slows of Imam, and that is gonna be the mage down from the side of Team Singapore. Reminiscent is forced to go in for the split push and to mirror this, and right now they don't have anyone defending against this Lord coming in from Team Philippines. A big healthy chunk on the inhibitor. Adamir forced to go to ultimate as well, using his life, but he might actually die, but he is trying his best to delay the Lord. But Reminiscent will be able to trade an inhibitor as well. Nicely done, come from Team Singapore.
All things considered, that is a very good trade. Getting an entire lane of towers and an inhibitor, that is way more than Team Singapore should have been allowed to take. And Team Philippines, they were hoping to be able to get a little bit more with that. They'll just have to settle with what they got. And Madison, though, in trouble. Pop the Dark Knight Fall should allow him to get out.
Oh, Dawning Light doesn't seem to connect anyone. They need to be careful. Reminiscence goes for the side step, but guess what? This is going to be a trap. Del Rosario going to force the time journey to actually get out of the situation. They want to fight under the tier 2, but JPL taking a little bit too much damage from Gonzalez as he snipes away, and eventually they will get the kill on Adamir, but the trades are coming in. Soto, however, getting the sneaky rat he is, the Team Philippines will take another inhibitor away from Team Singapore. Oh my, this is close. This is close.
Yeah, but this feels so annoying to play against here. Team Singapore trying their best to counter the team fights, but they're just losing out in split push. JPL getting dropped real low. Dawning Light not gonna do too much as the final inhibitor on the side of Team Singapore is going to fall to the Philippines.
Nicely done coming from Team Philippines. They get all the inhibitors and they are going to be taking objectives. And guess what? Right on time as well. 30 seconds before the next Lord, Team Philippines may consider freezing up the lane. Meanwhile, Singapore is going to try and make something happen with the split push at Soto. Consistently pressuring the bottom lane, but looks like Team Singapore, they want to pick a fight. Soto needs to be a little bit careful. He's thinking about it. He might be walking into the bush right here. Team Singapore, they might maybe go for a play. Looks like they won't catch him. The silent comes in, but the Dawning Light from Sailor completely misses the shot, and Soto won't survive that. Such a close call for Singapore, but Philippines will be able to escape this.
That was an perfect use of an eye for an eye, getting a 3-man stun on Singapore. Zayla missing that Dawning Light is going to cost them because getting that kill onto Soto would have been huge to keep Singapore in this game.
Oh, that is so unlucky. Oh, you hate to see moments like this, but at the same time, it's not over yet. Singapore, they're starting to scale a little more. They have a lot of economy in that regard, but it looks like they are going to force the issue because Adamir is going to get a freebie onto Del Rosario, who's trying his best to survive this, but this is going to be the bait. Real Manage connects on 3, but here comes from the side as well. Real Manage goes for the side. A big Dawning Light connects on 5, but they can't seem to finish them off. They poke them all away, but eventually Gonzalez is going to be able to pick them apart as this healthy Beatrix is getting kills after kills. Double kill for Team Philippines, and Singapore, can they do something about this? Well, here comes another Dawning Light, almost taking Imam, but it's not going to be enough. Look at this. Imam, JPL is going for the concealed play. Okay, looks like he's going to be backing off.
He does not manage to find Imam there, who was hoping to be able to get the trade off, but that does end up being a 2-for-2 trade for both teams. All things considered, again, considering that Singapore are as far behind in net worth as they are, that is actually not bad at all. And if they can continue delaying this game long enough, they might be able to find an opportunity. But Team Philippines, their mental right now is going to be at 100%. They know that this is their point in the game. And when you know that in these situations, they very rarely make mistakes.
Exactly, but Team Singapore, they need to find an option to push down, because if you think about it, based on all the towers coming in from Team Philippines, they've got the tier 1 down mid, they've got a tier 1 down bottom. Singapore, they need to find a way to open up the map, and it's very difficult to do so because of all this map control that Philippines is prioritizing. But still, all in all, now we're heading towards late game territory. Look at the items coming in. JPL is one item before going for the max slaughter, so-called roamer marksman, and once he gets his final item, this is where we start to see JPL start to hit a little bit on par, but Adamir is going to force the fight. He gets a little bit nice of a fight as well, but time journey comes in, so going for the side, trying to pick a big AoE damage. He gets the job done, but they can't seem to have the finisher, but instead Villa Luna as well as Imam will pick up the pieces of Team Singapore as they clean up their kills, and Sailor also going to be caught out, and just like that, they lose 3, and this might be JG. JPL finally showing himself, but I don't think he can do too much. Forced to go for the concealed plays, and it is going to be a 2v5 situation. Philippines, they are going to go ignore the Lord.
Yeah, they're just going to push straight in. No inhibitors left. They want to end this game in their favor.
Oh, no.
JPL instantly gives the mega kill over to Imam Adamir, the only one left alive, but no cooldowns. Unstoppable going over to Gonzalez, and the Philippines not going down without a fight evens up our semi-final series again. Going to be do or die for both these teams. We now enter the land of Dawn for the final time here in our first semi-finals match of day 2. Whichever team ends up on top in this game will be your first grand finalist in the 31st SEA game.
Oh boy, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the decider match for either of these teams. I want to see how they played, but this time Sayla going to be playing on the Eve in contrast of Imam playing the Cecilia. So it is going to be their usual comfort picks, and I like how Adamir is going to be opting to their marksman. So these are their perfect starting lineup coming from Singapore, getting their roles all identified. But looks like we are going to be seeing an early contest on towards the Little Wanderer, and Will Luna actually almost getting caught off. Forces a flicker, means Singapore is going to win out on the trade for the Little Wanderer.
I do like that Team Singapore are rotating more heavily in this early game. They know that this is the point of the game where they have to build as much advantage as possible, because once the late game comes around, Team Philippines will be able to just steamroll their composition.
Yep, Soto now on the Paquito, going to be going for the matchup against Zerov once again. Team Singapore, they are going to be strong arming that composition. However, split push potential, I don't think that Team Philippines is going to go for the Benedetta again. But seeing that the Karina is a big threat from the side of Team Philippines, they need to figure a way to deal with it. And I know that Karina is just so hard to deal with, but in terms of tankiness as well as causing chaos in the backlines, it's just one of the S-tier list heroes. And you can see immediate aggression coming in. Villa Luna getting poked away. However, he's going to get caught out. The Zoi's Poisson is going to come in. However, he's going to be able to escape it safely from the side of Team Singapore.
What we just saw from Team Philippines is exactly how they intend to deal with this Karina. They know that Remanescence is going to be aiming for Villa Luna most of the time, so always have Del Rosario nearby to protect the Rafaela. He's taking a lot of damage here for JPL, but that is fine. They are on top of the turtle, taking a lot of damage, but Del Rosario just tanks it all. He is going to end up being the first blood, but they trade up for Remanescence as well.
Oh my goodness, here comes the real world Manirish coming in, and Team Philippines is gonna back out just like that. They get the trade on the turtle coming from Del Rosario. However, the pickoffs coming in from on towards Reminiscence was pretty much wasn't expecting or calculated coming from Singapore, because Imam was able to catch him off guard. So that was a big catch while the junglers was focused onto the turtle objective.
Yeah, really well played by both teams there, but Del Rosario, I'm impressed at his discipline. He knows that he is probably going to die there, so he just stands in the turtle pit. He knows he has to secure it for his team, because that's the only way that he will make trading his life worth it. Now, they are upping the speed as well. They want to steal as many jungle camps away from Team Singapore, because they know Remanescent is on the opposite side of the map.
Agreed and agreed, but as of yet, let's take a look at what's happening. Nothing much is happening. Both teams just playing in 50-50s, but Team Philippines, they do have a slight lead in terms of economy because of that turtle trade early on. Villa Luna gonna get focused out, and the Holy Baptist is also gonna be set up in place. Unfortunately, it's gonna be used for nothing, as Team Singapore not overcommitting to that fight. They are going to be playing safe. Imam has popped the sprint, and that is huge, because now Soul, he's going to get caught out with the fight, as now they get run over by Del Rosario, as he is going to be looking for more. Look at this, it's just so healthy. Wall charge comes in from JPL, not connecting with Luna, and he's going to die just like that. Del Rosario gets an easy double kill just by strong arming his levels as well as sustains.
Definitely a mistake by Team Singapore there. I don't think they knew what they were trying to achieve. Soul nearly getting the kill onto Imam, but gets his Abysm Strike stopped by Del Rosario, who just has massive damage. Sayla definitely stayed in the real world manipulation a little bit too long to see if they could just chunk out the members of Team Philippines, and ended up costing them when JPL jumped in to sacrifice himself.
Agreed. Another time on Soto as well. Philippines will be having a little bit upper hand, but Team Soto is going to go for the punch as well. Remnants actually gets caught out. That's going to be the retribution steal coming from Philippines as they secure the Soto. JPL, however, going to get caught out. Big wall shot comes in, but they just don't have the follow-up. Team Philippines, they have to sustain. They need to make a run for it. Soul is here, but here comes Gonzalez as well, as they slowly poke apart at the defense of Singapore. Double kill for Soul. He's gonna get the triple. That is huge for Team Singapore. But Gonzalez, he wants to pick up the piece. The real motivation from Sayla is gonna have him out, but can Soul go for the meter? He misses the skill right at the last thing, and Gonzalez sidesteps his way through. That was the last health, but Soul will finally finish him off, and that is gonna be quad kills coming from him. And not getting the Maniac, but still getting 4 kills in the back in his hands.
A massive play by Team Singapore, and that is going to heavily amplify Seoul's farm here, getting a 4 kills in a single fight. Unfortunately, not quite close enough to guarantee the Maniac, but Adamir almost getting taken out from the side by Villa Luna as well. Being able to escape that is going to be huge. And while Philippines are still ahead in net worth, Singapore are definitely closing the gap.
Yeah, that was a too close to be called comfort because Team Philippines, they had that in the bag, but fortunately for them, they were able to salvage the situation. However, the question remains. Right now, Adamir, he's slowly skating a little bit more. He's going to be able to do a lot of poke damage, but eventually, these are just all bursts, a mini burst of a damage coming from Clint. They need some sort of hard, true strike damage to actually pierce through the armors of Baxia, and it's going to be very, very difficult to do so. And Adamir now looking to farm in tier 1. Looks like Team Singapore, they want to force the issue. Immediately, Team Philippines, they are going to back off. You can see the stuns coming in. There, Rosario overextending a little bit too much, but preemptively pops the Toys Bason and will be forced to back off.
This is the strength of the Baxia, though. Del Rosario being able to just roll in under 4 members of Team Singapore, and they really can't do anything to punish him. But here comes the conceal play. JPL goes in, forces the flicker out from Villa Luna, and the Guardian's barrier is on the wrong side of the fight, allowing them to escape, while Soto up to his usual split-pushing strategy.
Yep, great patience coming from Singapore to bait out major spells. However, like I said as well, Soto is going for a split-push pressure, and we've seen this before. Team Philippines, they're just baiting out, but Team Singapore, however, they are going to have the numbers advantage. The side comes in from Gonzalez, not going to be successful, but the turtle will be secured from Singapore. They needed 5 men for this, but they can't seem to pick a fight, as Team Philippines are still getting objectives across the map. Adamir from side Singapore is forced to split off, but looks like Team Singapore, they're not going to continue the assault, as they will try and save up some farm for Adamir first.
That was a free turtle, though, thanks to JPL. A massive 3-man wild card onto the backline bought them enough time, and now he's continuing to open up the map. Team Singapore now are heavily focusing on Adamir's lane. They know that he is their win condition. They need to get him as fed as possible.
Oh no, Soto.
But this might be a little bit too much attention, because Soto, he's just gonna get another tower for free. Soul, I hope he's not too late.
Oh, we've seen this happen before, and it's just so difficult there to actually match it up. And I like how Philippines is fighting this, but looks like the purple is going to be contested as well. Real manipulation to help Team Singapore out of this sticky situation. It's going to be a-okay. Real Rosario is going to be kited off, but the damage coming from Team Philippines is a little bit too much, and Team Singapore has to go in for the reset. Adamir getting a little bit greedy with his farm, but fortunately for him, the Team Philippines is not going to go for the commitment, as Imam doesn't have the mana to actually contest it as well. Soto, however, down to half HP. You can see Singapore are trying to make an attempt. Adamir laying low, but seems like the recall coming in from Soto is going to come in. Oh, he finally misses the timing. Soto was looking for the defense. However, they will settle with the tier 1 up top instead. Meanwhile, Philippines is going to trade bottom if they can.
They know that Adamir is up top now, so they're going to deal with this here. Reminiscent, the only one in position. Soul misses the flicker Abysm strike. Going to get taken out. JPL almost dropped as well. Adamir coming in from the side. This is dangerous. He wants to get Imam, but Del Rosario is right there. Won't try to dive too deep for it. They get the bottom tier 1, and now they're going on to Reminiscent instead. Del Rosario coming in from the mid lane, gets the holy baptism, sets up the snipe for the Gonzalez.
Oh, that was big. A big snipe, double snipe coming from Gonzalez. Just completely takes him out on the equation. Because of that, now no retribution up for grabs. People is in prime position to go in for the Lord's fight. Team Singapore, how will they do this? Looks like they are a little bit afraid. Soto will be the first one to zone off Team Singapore, as he's got the double KO punch. JPL comes in, but here he goes. Soto making a little bit of hard havoc. The Lord is going to be dropping towards 20%. Real Wolf Division has been dropped to fight the fight, but Philippines, they're still holding on, and there's no commitment yet, but the retribution will be enough to get the Lord from the side of Team Philippines, and just like that, they will back off.
Yeah, really good discipline again from Team Philippines. They're able to get the Lord for free. They don't over-invest because they've already used many of their cooldowns just to keep Team Singapore off of the objective. They're still ahead in terms of net worth. All things considered, Singapore not that far behind. If they're able to get a good fight again, they are still very much even with their opponent.
Yep. And as of yet, Team Philippines, they are going to continue to do so. Going for the pressure at the box here. There was Rosario opening up the map. Reminiscence is going to try and open up a couple of fights potentially with that Karina. But as of yet, has to be able to find a pickup. But oh, Adamir from the get-go, getting a snipe from Gonzalez. He needs to be a little bit careful now. Villaluna going to use himself as a bait, but Team Singapore is not taking it yet. Del Rosario looking for the flag. He does see Adamir. He's deciding if he wants to go for it, but he is going to deny the Cyclone Eye to try and sync up for the Lord. But Adamir is right here as Team Philippines looking to decide for this as well. The snipe misses from Gonzalez, but he needs to be careful coming from Adamir, because if he dies right here, right now, it might be over for Team Singapore.
Yep, Adamir will be able to survive this and take out the Lord, but Team Singapore in a bad spot. Wild charge being forced by JPL to escape from Del Rosario. We are now hitting a pretty difficult spot as Soto is even able to push down the bottom tier 2. Singapore left only one external tower and are falling further and further behind in terms of farm.
Beautiful defense for now coming from Singapore. As long as they do not die and give unnecessary kills, they will eventually scale back. However, as of yet, Team Philippines still trying to chip away at the defense of Team Singapore, as JPL only has a Blade of Despair on his rock. He needs to be a little bit more tankier when he gets his next gearbolt item. So this could be a very, very difficult situation, but it all comes down to catch potential. Villaluna does have a scout about this. Gonzalez looking for the snipe, doesn't get it. Adamir will block the shot, but he's a little bit too low as a marksman. Do they want to risk this? Because Team Philippines, they want to go for it as well. Team Rosario thinking about it, however, will back off.
That's just a really good intimidation factor from Del Rosario going in for the back line. Team Singapore, they definitely had a sinking feeling in their gut that they were going to get cut off. But Del Rosario making the wild... Oh, hold on though. They catch out Villaluna with the wild charge. Remassen jumps in, gets the kill. Finally, a trade for Singapore.
Oh, this is finally a good pickoff from Singapore as well, because they needed this breeding rule to come back online. But like I said as well, it's only a roaming, but still, is it going to be enough? Because as of yet, they still need a couple more items. In this case, Adamir needs to hit his level 15 or maybe even get his Endless Battle on top of it, the potential Thunderbelt to actually further enhance the True Strike. But all in all, considered, it's just so much things they have to consider before taking the next fight. But while they're doing it as well, the Lord is going to be spawned off. Team Singapore is going to try and potentially bait this out, I guess.
Team Singapore has better control over this part of the map as of right now, but Team Philippines are definitely in a position where they can challenge this without too much issue. And the entire time, you can see Soto is still continuing his split push. Remassen now doing some good damage to the Lord. Hunter Strike already bought by Gonzalez. Lord dropping real low. Will they be able to steal it away? JPL gets the wild charge, secures it for Remassen. Real manipulation already dropped down. Soto coming in from the side. Adamir gonna be able to pick up the back. Yeah, they find one. They got the Lord. They are happy with that. Philippines and Singapore will both disengage.
Oh, that was huge coming from Team Singapore as well, with JPL intentionally blocking Del Rosario's True Unity, forcing in a very, very awkward position, denying Team Philippines the backup, and because of that, they were safely able to get the Lord and get a freebie on top of it all. So this is the redemption that Team Singapore has been eyeing for a long, long time. However, Team Philippines, what is going to be the game plan? Because as of yet, Imam is very close to his level 15. Likewise, coming from Gonzalez, they need to hit those big, big damage. And I feel like Adamir is one of the biggest threats coming from Team Singapore.
He definitely is, but I don't think this is going to be much of a threat for Team Philippines right now. This is only the first Lord of the game. Even a single person will be enough to take it out, and it does seem like they're sending Imam to deal with it, while Soto will stop Soul from being able to get the split push. But Singapore will be able to get this top tier 2 in exchange.
Oh, this is going to be rough. Seems like Team Singapore, they are going to be chipping over the outer turrets instead. They will get a tier 1 down mid, and they are looking to open up the map a little more. Team Philippines is the defenders this year. The barrier comes in, isolates the fight. But Team Singapore, do they want to force the issue? Sanguine Clock connects on JPL, but it's not going to be good enough. But Soto, he's going to get caught up. He's down a little bit low, but the damage isn't really too much. So needs to make a run for it. Real Blade isolates the fight, but the wall charge is going to be able to shut down Del Rosario. Villaluna also going to be caught off. That just means Singapore is going to come out. And Adamir gets the triple. He gets the quad. Can he get the 4? But no, the shutdown comes in. It's not going to be enough. Imam is going to be able to resurrect again from immortality. Almost gets the quad. Unfortunate for Team Singapore, but still a beautiful defense coming from Philippines.
That is going to be massive for Team Singapore. They end up trading 3-4-3. Soto, unfortunately, not quite able to clear things up. He actually has enough damage to finish off JPL and Remassen there. But Adamir, you can see that he's already doing a lot of damage. And being able to catch out Del Rosario that early on in the fight makes it so that Team Philippines does not have a front line, allowing Team Singapore to go in for the back, allowing Adamir to play as aggressively as he would if he was on the Beatrix. Team Philippines, they cannot afford to allow this Baxia to get caught out so early.
Yeah, this is huge coming from Team Singapore. If you think about it, right? They were losing so much in terms of economy, but because of that play, and even though they were trading 50-50s, right? Overall, they are going to be winning in the better trades just because of the economy swing and comeback coming in from Team Philippines. So we are going to be seeing how this is going to be happening, but it seems like they are going to be having a pause as of yet to try and figure out the final moments. And it's understandable, right? Considering that now in this final stage game, they need to figure out what they need to do, because it all comes down to one small mistake. And either one of these teams are going to be not eliminated, pushed down and losing their chance of getting themselves a gold or silver medal.
Yeah, this is the penultimate moment for this series, this semi-finals. In the next few minutes, we will be determining our very first grand finalist. And both teams right now are in a really even state. Either side has the potential to take it home, to go up and be guaranteed at least second place.
You can see the supports are coming in from Team Philippines to actually support the team, and it could be going either ways. And as of yet, they're trying to discuss a little bit, I guess, on how to deal with Adamir. You can see Adamir's perspective. He knows how strong he is from the side Team Singapore. You saw how the moment he came back into his action, he was able to just dish out so very much damage against them. And because of that, it is going to be very, very difficult to actually overcome. But it all comes down to whether or not can they push towards the last moments. In these final moments, I guess they are going to be discussing what is going to kick up, whether focus on Adamir or focus on the Karina. Which is it going to be? Meanwhile, on Team Singapore's discussion should be focusing on trying to punish Del Rosario's over-aggression on the Baxia and chip him off while picking off the sides. But little did they know, Imam is actually starting to hit really hard on that Sicilian.
Yeah, they have to watch out for Imam. They have to watch out for Gonzalez. Even Soto is starting to dish out quite a bit of damage. So although Team Singapore have been able to get really beneficial trades so far, they still have to be quite wary in their initiation. As you highlighted earlier, a single mistake at this stage of the game could cost them their chances at the gold medal. And it does look like we will be returning now to the land of Dawn.
Well, it seems like the next lot is going to be up as well. 15 minutes in the game. They are equalized in terms of economy. Singapore is back in action. However, Reminiscence opening out the map. Villa Luna does scout him up. What is it going to be? How's it going to be? It seems like it's going to be a tough call. Ooh, the Lord is going to be beaten out from Singapore once again. However, on the minimap itself, you do see Soto going for the split push potential. So it's not really a good call, but JPL with the conceal play.
He gets the wall charge. He hits Del Rosario. Real manipulation already dropped down. JPL dropping real low. Gonzalez doing a lot of damage. And now Singapore are on the back foot. Del Rosario just chasing them down. And they're dropping real low in terms of HP. Philippines wants to follow up. Soto coming in from the back line. Holy baptism, finding Reminiscence. Knockout strike on top of Soul. But he is still able to walk away.
Oh my goodness, close call coming from Team Singapore, but Philippines, they were able to overcome the surprise element of JPL, immediately bursting him down. Gonzalez doing a fantastic job at that. Just like that, Team Philippines, they bounce back, they get the Lord, and it feels really good now to be in the driving seat right now of this momentum swing.
That was a really good initiation by JPL, finding multiple members of Team Philippines in the bush, but I think in that split moment, he couldn't decide who to go for, ending up using the wild charge on Del Rosario. And even though catching out the Baxia has worked out for Team Singapore in the previous fights, he is still very tanky. They have to be in a perfect position to actually pick him off first.
Yep, seems like they are playing it safe from side Team Philippines. They are going to be freezing the lane to wait up on the Lord before going for the push. Team Singapore is going to be losing out about a little bit shy of 3k economy, but as of yet, even though it's a very minuscule task in terms of economy, but they need it just because they need to hit those level 15s. And as of yet, Sayla is only level 14 alongside with JPL, whereas Team Philippines, they're all going to be maxed items very soon. However, looks like the Minotaur is going to be in as well. Del Rosario looking for the base. Thank you as well. Doesn't catch anyone from side Team Singapore. And looks like they're still waiting for those opportunities. Gonzalez looking for the side, sitting in the bush. And Team Singapore is going to be forced to defend against the assault on the Lord on the top side. But looks like we are going to be calling in for a pause as we get on thinking of what they need to do coming from Team Singapore.
This is going to be pretty dire for Team Singapore right now. There is a Luminous Lord pushing up the top lane. They have successfully defended the other inhibitors, but you can bet that Team Philippines is going to be making use of this Luminous Lord to try and get at least 1 or 2 structures. Maybe if Team Singapore makes a mistake, they could even use this to end it right now.
This is really tough. I'm not gonna lie. This is very, very tough. This might be the turning point for either Singapore or Philippines, because as of yet, the Lord coming in and Team Philippines is feeling so very much confident in the situation. And I feel like from the side of Team Singapore, there's just a lot on the line. Seoul, however, needs to figure out a way to cut towards backline and potentially snipe off Del Rosario or maybe even the Beatrix in their regards. And it's just very, very difficult to do so.
At this point in time, Team Singapore needs to ignore Del Rosario entirely. They can only afford to pick off the Baxia if he puts himself out of position. They need to target Gonzalez. They need to target Imam. But that is quite difficult because usually the person that's going to be making those initiations is JPL on the Grok. But he needs to be standing in the backline to protect his own Eve, Sayla, from the Baxia, because you can be sure that Del Rosario wants to stop the real-world manipulation as fast as possible.
Yeah, there's just a lot on the line as well. As you can see, discussions are made as well. They're trying to solve the technical issue. I believe Soul's... I think there's something wrong with Soul's connection, I guess, and it makes a lot of sense. But this is not a good time for him to have this kind of issues, right? It is going to break down the morale and focus, and hopefully it is not going to affect them too much as well. You can see there is a lot on the line.
You can imagine that pausing the game like this is going to make a lot of impact towards a team's momentum. And I think right now, just based on the way they're looking, Team Singapore is definitely feeling a little bit of that stress. They're under pressure. They know that there's a chance they could get eliminated with this push, and they have to decide how they want to deal with this. Right now, it is important that they keep their mentality strong, because you can be sure that Team Philippines are going to be feeling quite comfortable right now in terms of the mental game.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a very, very tough one. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to see how it all goes down, because right now we are going to be jumping straight into the game to find out how it's going to go down in this final Lord push, potentially from the side Team Philippines, because it is happening right here, right now. You guys are watching the SEA Games, and this is going to be the final game for the first semi-finals. And who's going to be the Lord is going to be coming in, and see like Team Philippines, they are going to respect and concede this Lord away. All right.
Team Philippines are known for playing more safe and disciplined late games. They already got 1 inhibitor with that Luminous Lord, and they know that pushing any further and losing a fight would actually allow Team Singapore to instantly push in and end the game themselves, so they don't want to take that risk.
Well, we do see immortality purchases coming from Singapore. All they gotta do is just stall it out. Meanwhile, Philippines as well, they do have a couple of immortalities, but as of yet, Reminiscence is gonna get kind of caught out as well. JPO needs to make a run for it as well as they continue to get chipped off, but they're just a little bit too tanky. So Team Philippines unable to chip away at those re-mortalities, but they will chip away at the middle turret for now.
That's gotta be so frustrating. That's the power of the Beatrix, using Renner, just chunking out the tower even without a minion wave. Literally nothing that Team Singapore can do. They are down to their final inhibitor. Things are looking quite dire for them now. Still a 6k net worth difference, which at this stage of the game is actually not that much, but they don't really have the tools to be able to fight straight into Philippines. They need a pick-off.
Yep, that is going to be the immortality up on Soul. That means he is going to be able to come over line a little bit more very, very soon. But looks like it seems like there is going to be a skirmish as well. Villa Luna forced to use the Holy Baptism to get him out of sticky situations, but Singapore, they are still sticking around, but the minions are going to be pushing on towards the base. Is this the right call? Team Singapore, they have to defend against this, and as of yet, Team Philippines, they've got full control of the Lord. They're split off as of now, but Team Philippines now is going to be the best to force the issue, but looks like they are playing it safe. They don't want to commit into it yet, as they want to try and force Team Singapore to make a mistake first.
This Lord is going to be very important. It is the final evolution. Del Rosario jumping in. He sees Soul, but the man has immortality, so Philippines don't want to invest. We know that this is their style. They play around these objectives. They will reset this Lord as many times as necessary to be able to secure this game-ending objective.
Yeah, this is so smart coming from Team Philippines here. They're waiting for Adamir to actually mess up into this rotation, but the minions are pushing from all sides, and the Philippines, they're waiting on the minions on the top side to push into a Singapore and then potentially trying to catch them off guard. But Team Singapore, they've got to make a move very, very fast, because they are playing in the hands of Team Philippines. And it looks like that the move is going to be going back to defense, and that is going to be conceding Lord territory into a Team Philippines. Philippines.
Team Philippines knows that all the waves are going to be pushing in. They will be able to see that Seoul has been sent up to the top lane to deal with that wave as well. So knowing that Team Singapore is going to be outnumbered here, they might look for the engagement, but they're just zoning them out. They're playing safe. Del Rosario dropping the Lord down real low.
Half HP coming in as well. They need to force the fight, but there's a big minion up top. But Team Singapore, they're going to rush in as well. They are going for the push. They can't kill off Gonzalez. Real Rage comes in, isolates the fight. However, Team Philippines, they're just backing off, but there's a big minion. Flick only get chipped away, and Anime clutches it for Team Singapore, and they are going to be able to get the kill. However, the Crystal almost losing it from the side of Team Singapore, but it is going to be a 5v4 situation.
That was really close. If Seoul was just a little bit later in recalling back to the base, Singapore would have lost their chances at the gold medal to minions. And now Villa Luna going to be targeted again. He will be able to get away with the speed up from Holy healing. The Team Philippines, they still have to be careful. They are now down one man. They can't afford to take a fight.
Oh, this is so hard to watch. But Team Philippines, they've got all the time in the world. But Team Singapore, they are going to try and potentially force a play with the Lord now being present in as well. Team Philippines is still checking out the HP bar of the Lord, but slowly but surely the Lord is chunking in. So looking for the fight, but looks like they are need to back off. But here comes the real evolution. They isolate the fight. There Rosario going for a little bit more damage. JPL needs to back off from this fight, but they can't seem to find any sort of the pickup. Adamir is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Gonzalez is secretly pushing the mains from the side. So that is going to be a skirmish fully disengaged from Team Singapore, not being able to do anything about the situation.
I think we are all sitting on the edge of our seats right now because we really have no idea which way this game is going to go. Both teams are playing so disciplined, so safe. They know what is at stake right now, and just resetting the Lord constantly. They are responding to split pushes very well. So even though Soto and Gonzalez have been coming in to try and get a cheeky backdoor, Singapore have been ready to respond to it.
Exactly. Sayla now just got his Divine Glaive. This is going to be a major factor on the overall damage that we're going in from Team Singapore. But is it going to be enough to deal with against Team Philippines? As of yet, you can see Team Singapore, they're still waiting and pushing out the lanes as much as they can so that they can get their Crystal's HP up and healthy before, or if Team Philippines decides to do something really spicy. So they're holding on the lanes pretty well, but it is going to be a stalemate for a while before they make a play. Team Singapore, they're making sure every last bit of health is going to count. And as of yet, the Crystals is going to be full health on the bottom left of the minimap itself. The Crystals is going to be on 100% health. Team Philippines, however, is going to try and bait this out. Singapore, however, also going to be waiting on immortalities, potentially on Adamir as well.
This has truly turned into a mental battle. This is how Philippines usually is able to win their games. They're just able to outlast their opponents and make less mistakes. But so far, Singapore has been proving that they have what it takes as well. They've been doing a very good job of dealing with what Philippines is trying to do, matching their split push, matching their presence on the map, and keeping an eye on the Lord to make sure that it is not taken away for free. They want to get a pick off, but the positioning of every player on this map is perfect.
Oh, looks like there's going to be a play coming in. Gonzalez from the behind as well. So it's going to try to make a play as well. He finds Gonzalez, but he's going to get focused out. He dies through the first one as well. They're more time to get chipped away, but Imam is going to finish him off. Now, Team Philippines is slowly picking off towards members of Team Singapore. They can't seem to finish off Gonzalez. JPL tried to make the play. He's still alive. He's got the immortality, and Singapore is slowly retreating away. And likewise coming from Philippines, and everything is on his way. Well, but Gonzalez from the side. Ooh, that was a little bit too close. Unfortunately, Reminiscent does not have the vision for that. They lose Soul in the process, and this is another play coming from Team Philippines, and this is going to be the best time for them to try and contest the Lord.
Even though they are down one man, so it's still quite risky for Team Philippines to go for this. Soul tried to make the engagement, and it was a good attempt for Singapore to try and catch Philippines off guard, but that's a very difficult thing to do. Even at this point, Team Philippines respect the amount of damage that is coming out, and the fact that Singapore were able to disengage from that, only losing a single player, is going to be huge, because if they had lost even one more person, the Philippines would have been able to take this Lord and end the game.
Well, that is going to be another pause coming in as well, but we do catch a glimpse of the Hardcore being purchased towards Gonzalez, but once again, this has been a very annoying stalemate, and you can see how JPL is consistently going for those garden barriers to try and prevent the Lord from heading in towards Team Philippines' side of the map, and this is just so much patience coming in as well, and you can see there's just so much on the line now. But as of now, Team Singapore, they know that Seoul has died once. They don't have the immortality. They need to try and force Team Philippines to make a mistake and somehow make a comeback, because time and time again, it is going to be a split push fight between both Seoul as well as the Paquito coming in from Team Philippines to actually go for this fight.
Yeah, they are going to be the ones mainly looking for that initial engage. Otherwise, it is going to be JPL with that wild charge. But again, both teams are positioning very well to avoid these sorts of situations. And while Singapore is the one that is looking for engagements, Team Philippines are perfectly happy with this sequence of events. They're just waiting for an opportunity they can exploit. This is their style of play. It has worked for them so far. Will Team Singapore be the ones to finally put a stop to their plans?
Oh, this is just so mentally taxing as well in this final fight, because there's just so many pauses while trying to fix this issue. But you must understand, the moment whoever wins this fight is going to be having the biggest sigh of relief, despite the mental tension that is happening between both Team Singapore as well as Team Philippines.
It's honestly going to be really heartbreaking for whichever of these teams ends up drop down to the bronze place matching, because they are truly playing their hearts out here on this stage. This is a maximum effort. This is 200% effort to make sure that they can go up into the grand finals, to represent their country, to go for gold. They don't want to give up on that opportunity when it's right in front of them, but you can already see the fatigue settling in.
Oh my goodness, this is very, very tiring, and I can see as well, it's very stressful. It is only the first semifinals, but as of now, like I said as well, whoever loses this series has a bronze match to fight by the end of the day. But whoever advances is going to take a very, very sigh of relief and say, I'm going to go home, take a quick shower, and focus on tomorrow's grand finals.
Yeah, that's going to be very important. As we've already highlighted many times, being able to take a step back and refocus mentally is a huge determining factor in allowing a team to play at 100%. And considering that the grand finals are tomorrow, where one of these teams will be fighting for a chance and bringing home the gold medal, they need all the rest they can get.
Yeah, it's just so heartbreaking. So you can see Seoul's face as well. He is starting to show a very, very huge signs of fatigue, and who could blame him considering how close the match was? And JPL, it seems like he is having some sort of issues with his phone. I guess that is going to be a technical pause as well. Adamir also going to be focusing on from side Team Singapore as they try to resolve the issue as quickly as they can.
This is going to be pretty rough for them. Hopefully that we can get this issue resolved as soon as possible, because again, these are the final moments of the game. Both teams are just waiting for that one play, that one initiation, that one mistake from their opponents. At this stage, whoever wins a fight, the respawn timers are going to be so long that they can just break straight through. Obviously, Team Philippines are in a more advantageous position because the crystal for Team Singapore is completely exposed. But I don't think they'll have any issue to break into Team Philippines base as well. It just comes down to who wins the next big team fight.
Agreed. Reminiscence as well, trying to keep his focus as a back, and so as well, we're going to be focusing on what is going to be the game coming in. And there's just a lot on line for Team Singapore, and this is so stressful to watch. I'm not gonna lie, we're as casters, we're just on edge as well, hoping that this game is gonna proceed, but it's just so very difficult to continue considering the stage of how the game is actually happening. But I don't know, it feels like what is gonna be the right play from Team Singapore? Is like they need to focus on Gonzalez, but Beatrix is just so far behind. But if every single time they make a play, it's gonna be extremely hard to actually go in for the kill.
I guess we'll find out what the plan will be, because we are now going to be returning to the game once again. Which of these teams are going to be coming out on top? Team Philippines now going to be making the attempt. JPL able to walk away with no problem. Reminiscent coming in. He wants Villa Luna, but their positioning again is on point. But they know that Seoul has to deal with the wave up top. They could use this opportunity to start on the Lord.
Well, again, JPL looking for the long resets on towards the Lord. Team Philippines will, however, try to make attempts. Seems like they are making rotations up top to potentially get a easy kill onto a Soul, but I don't think Team Singapore knows this, because as of now, Team Philippines are showing signs on towards the Lord, but oh, beautiful reset coming from JPL with the wall block, and that is going to be Team Philippines not able to clear it off. Meanwhile, Team Philippines, they're making plays, so he needs to make a run for it. He clears the minions, but from behind, he's going to get surrounded, so he needs to make a run for it as well. He knows he is going to be having a little bit of front, and just like that, they take him out. Team Philippines will catch him off guard. However, this is going to be a 3-man push coming in. They need to find a way to reassemble the rest of the teams, as the rest of Team Singapore is going to try and make a pickoff, and unfortunately to say, it's not going to have a great wall here coming in to isolate the fight. A wall charge coming from JPL to isolate them all, but they don't seem to have the damage to do so. They need Soul in this fight to come.
A good disengage from Singapore. They're only going to lose Soul there, but that might be enough because Team Philippines can now completely zone them off the Lord. Again, we are very late into the game. This is the final evolution of the Lord. This is more than enough for Team Philippines to end the game if they're able to secure it. JPL gonna... Actually, he does get the reset, but Philippines swaps their target, goes for the Grok instead. That's one more down. Remanison, the next target. Soto jumping in on top of Sayla, pushing him back, but Team Singapore, they're not gonna give out without fight. Sayla dropping real low, getting taken out. Remanison going to be able to survive. Adamir flickers forward, pops the immortality on Gonzalez, but he is out of position. He gets another immortality, gets his own immortality pop. They will get the killing spree onto Adamir, as now Remanison jumps in. He wants to pick off Villa Luna, but gonna guide to that impact, and Philippines gonna pick off the final member as Sayla drops in a double kill. Soul gonna finally respawn, but he is in a 1v5 situation. Will he be able to defend against this minion wave? Philippines gonna be jumping straight in. The crystal is exposed. They are going to end the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Philippines